What's good, everyone? This is JamBin434 back with another NXT Back to Black and Gold. This was on the 1st of August 2012. This was a better episode than than the show last week. I thought the show last week was quite disappointing. There wasn't really a lot of wrestling, which was the only thing that sort of annoyed me about this show. But this week we got a lot of action, which was great. So the show starts with interim NXT General Manager, the late great Dusty Rhodes, announces there is an NXT Championship tournament called the Gold Rush Tournament, hence why the NXT used the term Gold Rush nowadays. Entrants were Ritchie Steamboat, Leo Krueger, Jinder Mahal, Bo Dallas, Justin Gabriel, Michael McGillicuddy, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. So the opening match of the night was a quarterfinal match with Ritchie Steamboat against Leo Krueger. Start was a lockup. Steamboat attempts an early pin. He's been going to lock him to the corner. Krueger slaps Steamboat. Steamboat chases Krueger out of the ring as Krueger attacks Steamboat as soon as he gets into the ring. Shots to the back. Krueger attempts a backbreaker where Steamboat hits a beautiful chop which rolls Krueger out of the ring. Steamboat continues the assault with a chop and whips him into the corner. Krueger looked like as if he injured his knee during going into the corner. Krueger played possum and then works again on the back of Ritchie Steamboat. Krueger hits a fisherman suplex and drops a fist for a 1 count. Krueger gets in a chin lock. Steamboat fights back as Krueger hits a spinebuster for a 2 count. Steamboat then mounts Krueger with some right hands. Krueger gains more offense by whipping Steamboat into the corner. Ritchie fights back with some chops. Steamboat hits a bad body drop and gains some momentum and hits a hard elbow. Steamboat hits a beautiful missile drop kick from the top rope. Krueger attempts to go for the sleeper hold again. Ritchie goes to the ropes with Krueger in control. Drops some hard knees to the back. Steamboat hits a beautiful reverse leg sling blade and gets a 3 count. This was a very good match. I was very into this match. The one thing that disappointed me is that Ritchie Steamboat did not go all the way. That was the only thing that really upset me because I thought he was very underrated when the times I watched him during the early days of Black and Gold. Big E Langston, as he was then, segment before his debut shows a couple of his matches in time in FCW before it was changed then to NXT. Then we get Big E Langston making his debut against Adam Mercer. This is more of a serious Big E before he became the fun-loving, as we saw in the New Day. Starts with a lockup. Big E strikes with some several knees to the stomach. He then gets several backbreakers and simply mauls this poor young man. Puts Mercer into the turnbuckle and then some shoulder tackles. Mercer tries to gain some offense and goes for 2 jawbreakers, but to nothing. E runs in straight into him and then gets him down with a takedown. Big E hits the big ending for a 3 count. Simple as that. Simple as that. This is before the 5 count gimmick started. So in the nearer time, you saw a Big E become the 5 count, which I did like that gimmick, by the way. We have the only women's match of the night. We have Raquel Diaz versus Audrey Marie. Raquel seemingly tried to put herself over and was reasonably decent cutting promos. Until we get to towards the end of the match. It starts with a headlock. Marie gets into a headlock. Marie continues before Diaz hits a stun gun into the ropes for a 1 count. Diaz talks trash as she applies the chin lock to Marie and throws a face first for a 2 count. Diaz gets her rakes to the eyes and she hits a face plant onto the canvas for a 2 count. Marie then counters with a bridge for another close 2 count. Fans were actually chanting, "You can't wrestle." Now, I don't know if this was to both women or whether it was just for one. So, ideally, it's not very a good start. So, this is why both of them seemingly never got to higher ground. Diaz wins with a full throttle, and then after the match, Diaz gets some lipstick and puts the letter L on the head of Audrey Murray. Riley Pierce backstage with Paige. Riley Pierce, as we know, is Ryan Nemeth. Riley asked Paige about the purpose of Raquel Diaz. Doesn't seem to comment much. It's a bit of an awkward interview. I didn't really hear much. The audio was not the best because I'm watching it on YouTube. The audio wasn't the best, so it was a bit awkward. Tag team action. Unico and Camacho faced Jason Jordan, as we know now. He's a part of the great tag team with Chad Gable down the line and Mike Dalton. Jordan and Hunico start. Jordan gains some offense and gets Hunico into the ropes for a stalemate. Another beautiful takedown by Jordan and hits another side slam. Dalton gets the tag with a double team for a 2 count. Hunico hits a big right and hits a dropkick for a 2 count. Camacho gets the tag and hits stomps into the corner. Hunico gets the tag with a dropkick into the bottom corner. Dalton attempts to fight back, but another knee. Dalton seeks for a pinfall for a 2 count. Hunico applies a headlock to the corner and tags in Camacho. Camacho hits a beautiful butterfly suplex for a 2 count. A double team on Dalton for a 2 count. Jordan breaks up the fall. Jordan distracts the referee, looking like a bit of an idiot, but it actually worked. So while Dalton is getting double teamed, Dalton reverses Hunico and gets a 3 count of a victory roll. I did like this match. This match was quite fun. There was a lot of. It seemed to be dominated by Hunico and Camacho, but Jason Jordan, for me, I just wish he went all the way. I thought he was in an excellent tag team with Chad Gable until he gets to the main roster. We don't know what happened next. In one of the most terrible storylines I think I've ever seen. We got Bo Dallas segment backstage. Says he has a smile on his face when he's in the ring, he's all rock and roll. Explains his family history with his father, the great Mike Rotunda, aka IRS, his uncle Barry Windham, and his grandfathers. He's explained he's the 3rd generation wrestler. We get to the main event. We have a rematch from last week. We have Drew McIntyre one-on-one with Seth Rollins. This was an excellent match. I enjoyed this match. The chemistry with these two men is unheard of. Now, if people don't know how good Rollins and McIntyre are, you're in the wrong division. You're in the wrong business. Starts with a lockup. Drew powers Seth as Seth escapes. Drew pounds Seth onto the back and goes for a scoop slam. Seth reverses. Seth gets some kicks to the leg as Drew powers through. Drew hits a beautiful European uppercut, knocks down Rollins. Rollins reverses, gets a basement dropkick to the legs. Rollins hits a head scissors and it's a dropkick. Drew rolls out of the ring to buy some time. Drew then hides under the ring, and then as Rollins exits the ring, tries to look for Drew. He drives Seth face first into the apron. Drew then hits the arm of Rollins onto the steel steps and rolls back into the ring. Drew works a lot on the hand of Rollins and hits him with a backward slam for a 2 count as we go to commercial break. Don't know why there was commercial breaks on the WWE Network, but that was the only thing that was very annoying, to be fair. As we came back from break, Rollins attempts to fight back. Drew knocks him down for a 2 count. Drew gets Seth into the corner, stomps relentlessly. Seth fights back as Drew again works on the arm, gets another 2 count. Drew goes out and strikes Rollins on the chest and hits an arm breaker onto the apron. Drew hits a right. Rollins, before getting some offense in, Drew gets Seth into the corner and continues his assault. Seth counters a backdrop into a DDT. I love this reversal. It's pretty cool. Crowd was really getting into this match. This is probably the loudest of the crowd we're all evening. Seth gets a chop and some kicks in, hits an enziguri, and clotheslines Drew out of the ring and hits a suicide dive. Rollins gets Drew back into the ring, and Drew hits a beautiful lariat as Rollins goes inside out for another close 2 count. Drew attacks Seth again in the corner with some headbutts. Rollins tries to crossbody. Drew catches him into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. That's for another near fall. Drew shoulder charges Rollins into the corner with some shots to the back of the head. Drew puts Seth into the top rope. Seth reverses with some elbows and attempts the Phoenix Splash, reversed by Drew. Seth hits the stomp to the gut and hits the curb stomp for the 1-2-3. Seth Rollins advances into the Gold Rush semi-final. So next week, we do have the continuation of the Gold Rush tournament. I'm actually glad that they got a championship in early to make the brand something worth watching. That's what they did with Evolve. There's the recent Evolve program. They brought a championship in early, and I like what they did. I think for me, this is the best episode of NXT by far. Excellent main event. We had a very good debut of Big E Langston. Very good technical match with Ritchie Steamboat and Leo Krueger. Match of the night for me was main event. I'm going to start giving match of the night now, which I haven't done in the first few videos. Worst match of the night. I don't really want to count Big E and Adam Mercer. It wasn't really a match. It was just a squash. I thought Diaz on Adrian Root was terrible. Tag match was decent, but main event by far match of the night. All right, so that is your new Back to Black and Gold. As I said, I'm dropping the video every day until we get through everything. So we are now closing in on to the finals of the NXT Championship tournament. And then soon enough, something else does happen. So that is your news episode done. Hit the like and subscribe button. Do appreciate it. I've said in previous videos, if you want to have 2.0 start getting reviewed, I will do it if I have to. If you want to put me through torture. But I did see that one of my favorite episodes dropped today. As I'm recording this, one of my favorite episodes, that was from the Great American Bash 2020. We had a match between Sasha Banks and Io Shirai, which I thought was one of my favorite matches in NXT. So thank you all for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you all for the next video. And always, please take care of yourselves.